I have a lot to say about Mardu Party here, but I'm going to try and keep it as concise as possible to where this deck tech's not 20 minutes, because there's a lot. There's a ton of new cards in this deck. This is kind of our last chance to do party stuff. That's why I've been so obsessed with it. Mono Black Party, Orzhov Party. I've been building all the party stuff. But I've kind of ended up on Mardu Party recently because I think this is like the most fun way to play the deck that I've found. I'm sure there's probably more consistent, better ways to play the deck, but this one has a lot of cool little tricks. So it's got the old trick. We played this trick before, right? Return Pass Caller, Thwart the Grave. In case you've never read this card in your life, which I wouldn't blame you. This is a 6-mana 4/2 flyer. It's a Spirit Cleric. That's important. And when an ETBs, you return target Spirit, Instant, or Sorcery card from your graveyard to your hand. So if you play Thwart the Grave, you can get a Return Pass Caller and basically anything else from your graveyard, because Thwart the Grave says return target creature card and up to one target cleric, rogue, warrior, or wizard card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So one of those is cleric. It's just all the party types. So you automatically get return pass caller because it's a cleric. And you get any other creature in your whole graveyard. And then once return pass caller hits the battlefield, you just get the Thwart the Grave back in your hand. You do this over and over, right? Your opponent kills your pass caller, big deal, right? They can't Vanishing Verse it, so they probably have to actually kill it and put it in your graveyard. At which point you just cast Thwart the Grave, you get pass caller and something else again. So it's a really, really sick little move. But in this deck, we've got a lot of new stuff that works with Party that we haven't really got a chance to play. Look how many new cards are in this deck. Jaxis, the Troublemaker. This is a warrior. And it's kind of like a Fable of the Mirror Breaker, right? Just a little bit. You know, this makes it to where you can copy a Shakedown Heavy. There's tricks with Body Launderer. We'll get into that in just a second. This can obviously copy a Return Pass Caller, right? And put something in your hand from your graveyard. Whether it's Thwart the Grave or a Fateful Absence or Vanishing Verse or another cleric like a Luminarch Aspirant, right? So just copying a Return Pass Caller is really sweet. But, you know, we can also copy a Shakedown Heavy and Extraction Specialist, another new card, which is a really good copy with a Jaxis, right? So we'll get into these new cards in just a second, but Jaxis is kind of a monster in this deck. You can blitz it in as starting on like turn 3 if you have 2 red mana, copy your 2-drop, right? Like there's cool stuff with this card because you don't care if you blitz it in early. You'll probably get it back because there's multiple ways of getting it back, right? Not only do you have Thwart the Grave, but you also have Body Launderer. Body Launderer, Gomez Adams, man, this is the deck for him. I've been experimenting with this card in a lot of decks. I really like it. It's just a 4-mana 3/3 Death Touch. That's not incredible or anything, but there's going to be creatures dying, so Gomez can get lurch-sized pretty quickly, but the best thing about this is returning a non-rogue creature from our graveyard to the battlefield when it dies. That means that if there's a Jaxis in our graveyard that we blitzed earlier in the game or just died or whatever, then we can automatically get it back because it's got lower power than Body Launderer no matter what. But I've gotten to the point where you can get back a Shakedown Heavy with a Body Launderer. The only play that you can't make, that you really want to make, is getting back an Extraction Specialist, because Body Launderer specifically says target non-rogue creature card. And Extraction Specialist happens to be a rogue. You really want to be able to do it, but you can't do it, and it sucks, but it's still okay, because Body Launderer gets back, you know, Tenacious Underdog, Valdaran Bladecaster, Raffine's Informant, Professor of Symbology, Luminarch Aspirant, you know, Jaxis. Sometimes it gets back a Return Pass Caller if even one creature died. If even one creature died while Launderer was in play, it can get back a Zagreus. So, like, this is a good deck for Body Launderer, dude. It really is. But obviously, Shakedown Heavy is a way to get more card advantage. This deck gets a lot of card advantage, mostly out of its graveyard. But Shakedown Heavy is a good way to draw cards. Jaxis can blitz in and draw a card. Body Launderer connives to get through cards, right? So Shakedown Heavy is just a nice, fat dude to play on turn 3. There's no reason not to play this guy. He's another warrior for the deck, too. Extraction Specialist, this allows us to play this color combination and actually get a good number of rogues. Because it's a rogue, right? But this is really cool. There's a lot of different ways to mess around with this card, right? Because we've got something like 14 2-drops, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 2-drops in the deck. So we'll almost always get a 2-drop. Right, so we drop it on turn 2. We can block with it pretty aggressively, you know, if our opponent kills it, we don't care. Because we can Extraction Specialist, get our Luminarch Aspirant right back on turn 3, and that's a lot of value. We got a card out of the opponent's hand, maybe we blocked and traded and got a creature off the table, and the Specialist comes down, gets back Lumi, or, sometimes better even, gets back a Professor, or a Raffine's Informant. The reasons that these are in the deck is that A, Raffine's Informant is a wizard, B, Professor of Symbology is a cleric. Right, so these are party creature types. And Raffine's Informant is actually what made me want to play this deck in the first place. I played it in Orzhov Party for a while. It's the reason I wanted to play Orzhov Party. Because these party decks tend to be kind of reanimator-y, right? Because Thwart the Grave is so stupid. It's such a sick Magic card. Especially if you get it for the full discount. But even when you have to pay like 4 mana for it, it's still really good. It's like a better Zombify. They won't print that card anymore because it's too good. We have to play like Return Upon the Tide instead of Zombify. But Thwart the Grave is a very good Magic card. And you got like Body Launderer, again, a lot of reanimate-y stuff. Extraction Specialist, right? So even if you're not doing like Thwart the Grave Body Launderer stuff, even just with Extraction Specialist, there's a line where on turn 2 you play Raffine's Informant, discard a Professor of Symbology, and then on turn 3 you play Extraction Specialist, get the Professor back and learn. Like, that's sick. Like, it's interesting stuff, man. The whole reason that I played Raffine's Informant, Professor of Symbology in the first place, the whole reason I wanted to play them, is because originally this deck was like the 4 Return Pass Caller, 4 Thwart the Grave deck. We're just trying to do this trick and nothing else. And I wanted to be able to discard these big dudes reliably on turn 2. So Symbology, Raffine's Informant. As I built the deck, that became less and less important to the philosophy of the thing. But we can still do that. It's still an open play if we do have Pass Caller in our hand. We can discard a Morog. I haven't talked about this card yet. We discard a Morog early in the game and get it back with a Thwart the Grave, right? So there are reasons to play these discard a card things in this deck. It's still very good to do that. We can discard a creature and then get it back with a Body Launderer when it dies. That can be a relevant play. So a ton of synergy on these new cards in the deck. But, the other stuff you've seen before. Morog is a great reanimation target, or you just play it. It just wins the game if you have land drops. Thwart the Grave is stupid. Luminarch Aspirant's the best cleric in the format. Fateful Absence and Vanishing Verse, not a lot of removal in the deck, but, you got to play a couple at the very least. Voldaren Bloodcaster is the worst card in the deck, but it's also the 5th wizard. And sometimes this will let us discard stuff to reanimate later. We get some card advantage. Who cares? We'll try it. Tenacious Underdog's just a 2 of. We don't need too many more warriors than we already have. That said, though, Tenacious Underdog's obviously awesome. We can discard it to a Professor or a Raffine's Informant. And even if we don't get it back with an Extraction Specialist later, we can still blitz it back in. So, obvious plays there, too. Just a lot. See how much there is to talk about with this deck? Haven't even talked about the Learn board, right? Like, Reduce and Necrotic Fumes are all-stars because we got a ton of creatures we don't mind getting rid of, right? So these are the other removal spells, right? Like we've got Fateful Absence and Vanishing Verse, but between Reduced Memory, Necrotic Fumes, and Introduction to Annihilation, it kind of gives us 5 removal spells, a little bit. So also Zagras is not only Death Touch, Body Launderer is Death Touch too, but Zagras gives all of our creatures Death Touch. So it's, we don't have removal necessarily, but we have some stand-ins, I guess we'll say. But, I tried to get through that as quickly as possible. There is so much tech to talk about in this stupid deck. It's been about 50-50 for me. It hasn't been winning every game, but boy, has it been interesting, and that's what I like. That's what I crave. I'm like a plant, and I need electrolytes. I crave, at this point in the format, where everything's kind of stale, probably not a whole lot of new decks are going to surface in the next 2 months here. We don't have long till rotation. No one's playing Standard anymore anyway, right? What I crave is an interesting deck. And this deck has that. This deck has a lot of that. So let's try it out tonight, see how we do. No black in our hand and 2 cards that require double black. Throw it back and opponent goes first. Not a great start. 4 black cards in our hand and no black mana. So far the deck hasn't been giving me like too many mana problems. It's been okay, but I think this is probably a tosser. I'm pretty sure. Opponent having a hard time with it though. I like their name, Wookiee GT. It's mullet. That's a little better, right? I think I'll put back the Zagras. Because just like copying the Aspirant or their Informant, even the Shakedown Heavy, these are all good plays. Jaxis might do some work. We got to get red mana. Sure. It's like we have 3 different party types in our hand. Like, I could get rid of a warrior, right? Keep the Zagras, so we might have a chance at it. But, I don't know. I want to do fun stuff with Jaxis. It's kind of a hard decision, but I'll try for it. Opponent on blue-green. Let's run out white mana on Bright Climb. It's also a snow deck. If it's a kind of grindy, like, I'm going to sweep you a few times deck, I think we can actually sort of handle that. That shouldn't be too bad. Now, I'm tempted to run out Luminarch here, but I actually think Underdog might be the better play. I do. If a creature's going to eat a removal spell early, I want it to be underdog. Makes me wonder if this doesn't last the turn. Sorcery speed removal, Bloodchief's Thirst on the Tenacious. Hey, we don't get a land, but we get another Lumi, which is probably fine. Would have really liked a land, though. I think we can all agree that a land would have been great. I can be aggressive here and go for Raffine's Informant. Play Informant, try to get the land drop. Maybe that's next turn. Not getting the land drop is bad, dude. That's terrible. Notice our opponent has 3 Woodland Chasms. That's, They're on 4 mana now. That's a lot of mana for this deck. That's starting to become a ton of mana. Yeah, Meat Hook for 2. We go to 21. We still don't get the land. Jeez, dude. All right, let's. I think we lost this game. We're too far behind on lands. There's a land. Let's drop a Voldaren Bloodcaster into the yard and play this land. Jeez. I guess we'll play it on black. Got a couple of double blacks in our hand and graveyard. Sorin the Mirthless. Okay. We'll make a dude. Choice. Guess I could go Lumi here, pump up the Informant. They'll probably block. Yeah, I think I'd rather do that than trade. Like, I could play the heavy right here. Well, let's try this. Sluminarch Aspirant, counter on Informant, attack the Sorin. And they do take the block? Yeah, they do. I'll lose a life to Massacre. It's not a big deal right now. They're going to look at the top card. It's a land. Good for them. Nice.
Nothing on Innistrad is free.
Meat Hook. Okay. Well, that's 2 hooks we've gotten rid of so far. That's pretty good. Alright, I'm going to try to do something aggressive here. I know this looks weird, probably. But let's Informant. Let's get this land drop. We got it. Oh, but we need that red source. We need that red source. My thought process here is that I can get Jaxis back with a Thwart the Grave later. It's Professor. Now, this is a decision too, because I could get like a Reduce to Memory or something to take out the Sorin. Or I could get an Environmental Sciences. And I could Environmental Sciences, play a red source, Shakedown Heavy next turn, which is pretty good. I'll try this. I'll try to get the Sciences. I do worry here that they're going to play like Skeletal Swarming, and we need a Reduce or something for that. Alright, Blood on the Snow is what they grab. Sucks. I'd like to remove this Sorin. But... oh, they play a tapped land. Okay. Interesting. In it. What's in our graveyard right now? Jaxis, 2 Aspirants. Oh, wow, just literally nothing but creatures. So, I'm actually considering here, the play might be to run out Tenacious Underdog and just deal as much damage as possible, kill the Sorin. I think they have Removal Spell. So might be the right idea to run out the Tenacious Underdog, and then next turn we can just Specialist or something. But if we kill the Sorin, they just Blood on the Snow, get it back, right? It's like we force them to Blood on the Snow regardless. Sorry for the rope, opponent. Let's try and get in like this. Yeah, they do have Removal Spell. That means they don't have to Blood on the Snow. Oh, they can Power Word kill both. Huh, opponent's really running out of cards here, aren't they? I think if we Extraction Specialist, we kind of force them to Blood on the Snow. Well, it's Sciences. Get our red source. You think if I Shakedown Heavy, they'll do it? Nah, because they can just, well... Specialist. I think the line here is we Specialist, we Informant to try to see a different card. But also Professor. I actually kind of like Professor here. Yeah, let's do it. Let's Professor and get a card. I think I want Reduce or Introduction. I'll take Introduction. Reduce might have been a call there. Because if we get rid of the sword and give them a 3/2, then they have to blood on the snow, right? But it'd be nice, too, to exile this Sorin. So they can't blood on the snow back. But, you know, I imagine we're going to have to deal with, like, Lalt and stuff this game. Shaping up to be a good game. Yeah, there's blood on the snow. And nothing. Okay. They got a Shigeki right there. Wonder if we can play out of this. I think we can. It's like at this point, what like has haste in my yard? Nothing. I was hoping there'd be like a Zagreus. I wonder how different this game would have been if we kept the Zagreus. If it had been like any different at all. It's like... I don't know if it's the right time to pull the trigger on Thwart the Grave. But I think I will. Let's get a Jaxis and a Specialist. And then the Specialist gets an Aspirant. I was thinking about getting a Professor. Maybe I should have. A lot of decisions with this one, guys. And then I'll give the Jaxis a high toughness, I guess. I don't think that it matters. Topiary Stomper. They do have the requisite number of lands to make it animate. So keep that in mind. They get a 3/2, so they're just going to try to block this turn. Yeah, Shigeki comes down. Alright. Another red source. Jaxis copies Specialist here. I'll discard the heavy. I don't know how important it is right now. Then, I could either get Aspirant or Professor. Could also get a Flyer. Professor. Let's get Professor. Then Professor gets reduced. Two, three, four, five. I'm gonna intro the Sorin. Let's put the counter on this guy just so he can swing in. See what kind of blocks they take. Nuns. Okay. So, Jaxis pops off. We draw the card from Specialist. It is a Specialist. That's neat. Invoke Despair. Huh. Sacrifice the Professor. Invoke Despair. I probably should have expected that. Ooh, they cram session? What deck is this? Some sort of... It's the Rock, you know? It's like green-black mid-range. Just haven't seen it in a while, you know? Ooh, Thwart the Grave. There's still not a Zagreus. We still haven't drawn a Zagreus. It's nuts. Thwart the Grave, huh? Alright, so we can Specialist. Let's probably just hold on to the Thwart, right? That's probably correct. Let's go full tilt here, you know? But no, let's get Professor. It's an all-star, isn't it? Mascot. Now, let's use Jaxis to copy a Specialist. Discard... I really want to discard Reduce. I'm not going to lie to you. I would love to do that. Yeah, let's discard Reduce. That's fine. I'm really sacrificing a lot there just to do the thing, you know? Informant. I think this time it's Aspirant. I can still Thwart the Grave. That's very tempting, but I don't think it's correct. So, who are you tied to? It's hard to tell, like, who's tied to... Okay, so... Professor's tied to that one. Luminarch's tied to this Extraction Specialist. Okay, so let's target a creature we control. Let's make that a 4/3. Let's make the other Specialist a 4/3. Swing. Block with Shigeki, they return to their hand. Oh, we don't get any life. It sucks. Alright, now what we're going to have to try to do here, I guess, is just like run this deck out of cards. This is a hell of a game that I don't know if we can win, but, you know, we have a Mascots, we have a Thwart the Grave, we do have this Faithful Absence. That's something. It's like maybe we can catch them after they channel. Well, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. We still have a lot of playing Magic to do in this one game here. It's our first game of the night, too. Stomper. Workshop War Chief. Wow. Jeez, they just kept dropping bombs, dude. Those are good Magic cards. Here comes a Stomper and a 2/3 Lifelinker. Let's block the Stomps. Alright, so we trade with the Extraction Specialist with a Stomper. After meat hooks go off, it's 22 us, 30 them. Draw land. That's kind of booty. But we've been drawing pretty well as far as that goes. Yeah, we've only drawn like 8 lands all game. That's down to 38 cards, so could be way worse. I think Fateful Absence is the worst card in our hand right now. I really do. Specialist Informant is actually what I'm thinking about getting here. Maybe I want the filtering of a Voldaran Bloodcaster. Sure. Shakedown Heavy in there. I could also... Well... That's Underdog. And let's Rumble. I actually kind of do want this to swing, so I can get another learn if I have to. Let's block if we have to with it. Alright, they're willing to trade. I mean, they're willing to trade all day because they probably end up having enough mana eventually to just, you know, get everything back with Shigeki. Zagras is what I wanted. I would like a Zagras. So we should draw 2 here, I believe. Yeah, the Zagras was the draw off of Jaxis, and the Blightstep is the draw off of Tenacious Underdog. This is a long game, guys. I'm sorry. Jeez. Man. Binding comes down. What do you bind here? Jaxis, probably? Yep. That's exactly what you do. We get a blood. You're gonna read Bloodcaster. Oh no, what do you do? Here they come with the boys. Sure. Still think there may be a sweep coming. Like cram session, what for? They're at 37, jeez. Jeez Louise. Environmental sciences, okay, might as well, right? Why not? Throw the land down. Our turn, huh? Well, let's cycle away a pathway. See what we get. Luck of the draw. Opponent has 30 cards, we have 35. Jeez. Cycle away the Haunted Ridge. A hell of a game. Jeez, man. It's non-stop. It's another land. We actually drew 3 lands in a row. Let's get rid of this one, too. Hopefully, Arena... This is the pocket of lands. There's a 4th land in a row, and a 5th. Alright. Well, we tried, you know. That's really funny. It's Zagras. It's hilarious, dude. I'll throw down Shattered Sanctum. Tenacious Underdog. Wow. 5 lands in a row, man. 5. Oh, man. 5. 5 lands in a row. That's something else. Swing, 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 swing. That's it. Knock him down to 29. Nice. Creature died, so we get a blood. Tenacious Underdog died, so we draw another land. 6 in a row? Really, dude? Just kind of a really at this point. When are they going to pull the trigger on this channel, man? 12 mana? 10, so they get 5 cards back? See if it's enough. Probably. I want to finish this one way or the other. This is going to be our entire stream tonight, guys. It's one game. We're both holding on to a mascot. That's how good our turns have been. Just holding on to mascot exhibitions. Here they come. I'll block here, both creatures. 4/4 and the 2/3. We'll trade with the 2/3. Oh yeah, our creatures have Death Touch. We both forgot, I think. Zagreus gives our creatures Death Touch, so Professor killed the Rhino. But man, that meat hook is doing all of the work, isn't it? It's pretty gross. Let's discard the swamp. Let's get a magic card here. It's a land! Oh my god, 7 lands in a row. Wow, okay, we finally broke the land stall. God. It's disgusting, man. Oh, jeez. I will play a land here, won't I? Yeah, I absolutely will. You never know what you're going to need mana for. But we know what's in their hand. Let's see if they take a channel here. Sure. I'll throw a counter on a Luminarch. Counter on a Luminarch. Haven't done that yet. Spread the love a little bit. Alright, they're almost at their starting life total. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 mana, so we can Mascots and Luminarch in the same turn. That's something. We can Luminarch and then cast a Thwart the Grave for 5. 7 mana, we'll have 3 left. Actually, we'll have 4 left. We drop this land so we can still Tenacious Underdog. That's a thought, right? If we drop this land. Do I actually want to get rid of this Needle Verge now? Try to get something? I don't think anything will actually help us this turn. Let's see what we draw from the Underdog. Because stuff is about to get real. Like, we're about to enter the phase 2 of the game. Because I'm pretty sure this is the turn that they decide to channel. Why wouldn't it be? What else would you do? Yep, they're doing it. It's on the Tenacious Underdog on the stack. They're doing it. Let's have a sip. How you be doing? How you doing over here? Yep, there's Shigeki. They channel 5. What are the cards? Channel 5 with Andrew Callahan. Okay, so they get an Invoke, a Blood on the Snow, an Invoke, a Topiary Stomper, and a Workshop War Chief. Okay. Could be worse. The Invokes are going to hurt. They're going to hurt real bad. Well, let's see if we can win from this position. We knew it was going to be tough. We knew this whole time it would be very difficult. Topiary comes off the Blood on the Snow. Interesting. Game 3, 26. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So, okay, Topiary. Yeesh. Yeesh. That hurts. And there's the first Invoke. 8. Alright, let's drop a Needle Verge. We get any Ganjo. That's something. It's a removal spell against the Topiary. Extraction Specialist. A Lifelinker. Let's try this. It's Extraction Specialist. Raffine's Informant. Discard a Luminar Casper. I'm really about to do that. You don't have trample. If I play you, I have a Cleric, a Wizard, and a Rogue. So let's do Lumi. Let's play one of the Lumis. Now, if we thwart the grave, we still have exactly... we don't have a Ganjo. Yes! We will have a Ganjo up, sort of. Only sort of. Okay, so if we get back Zagreus and Jaxis, we'll have a Legend on the field, probably, so we can Ganjo? Right? So let's try this and see what happens. Opponent still has 4 cards in there and we don't know what they are, so we could still be screwed here, but I think that's probably the best way to play this. Invoke. Yeah, sacrifice the Aspirant and maybe should have gone with Informant. Yeah, I probably should have gone with Informant, actually. Because it can't attack or block. They invoke again. They had another one. They had another one, guys. Well, good game. Good game, opponent. Oh, I want to say that we had a chance. That we had like a window in that game, you know? One of the reasons that I did that the way I did that, kept playing that game, despite knowing that they were going to channel with Shigeki and all that, is because I want to see exactly how grindy our deck is. And I actually think we proved a little bit there how grindy the deck can be. We played through 2 Blood on the Snow and 2 Meat Hook Massacre that game. Right? So, man. I mean, it was rough, but honestly, it could have been rougher. That could have been rougher, you know? I wasn't too worried about that. Yeah, but so far this deck is cool. This deck is interesting. It does cool stuff, and that's all I really care about, is doing cool stuff. Man, we didn't get a 2-drop. We could always, Jaxis. I'm going to try it, dude. I'm going to try for it. The 2-drop Jaxis if we don't get one. If we don't get a real 2-drop. See what opponent's on. Magus Malimo over here. Starts on Murkwater side of the pathway. We didn't get our 2-drop, so I'm going to blitz Jaxis in. This will draw us a card. We'll put it in our yard. Next turn we can Shakedown. We can body Launderer after that if we get a Black Source. Really wish we had a 2-drop in the yard right now as the specialist. That's okay. We get to Shakedown anyway. It's whatever. Maybe they'll mill us this turn. No, Tenacious Underdog? Alright. Oh, is it just the Esper deck? Probably. Yeah, let's get heavy. Put heavy D on the table. I don't know how good heavy is in this deck. But it's probably good for certain situations. Brick walling aggro opponents and stuff. Yeah, they verse the heavy. That's going to tie up their whole turn, though. Attack. Say go. Past Caller. Let's Raffine's Informant before we make our land drop. It's Jaxis, eh? Let's drop this Past Caller in the yard. I think I will play this land. Saigonjo. E-Ganjo. Rather. And then, if we block with Informant, they just kill it. Hopefully they don't Vanishing Verse. If they waste a Vanishing Verse on it, I guess we're happy with that outcome. No, just going to run them into each other, and that means next turn we might Extraction Specialist. We might do that. Triumphant Adventure, neat. Okay. There's the Black Source, so do we body Launderer instead? Nah, let's Specialist this turn. Get back the Informant. Let's take our Connive. Do I want this land? Not more than I want everything else in my hand, I think. So, you know, let's dump that. Still Jaxis. That's cute. Nah. Send the turn. Here they come. I wonder if they can blow us out. Just all the way out if we block. So let's not. For now. Another land. So I'll throw you down. We have 2 mana left after the land drop. None black, so it's probably not great. I can throw down red source. And then next turn have enough to, well, doesn't matter. So I could body Launderer, run out Jaxis. There's already a Jaxis in the yard though. I think it's probably best just to get aggressive. Zagras. You can tell I'm thinking about running out on Jaxis still. Be as aggressive as possible. But we really don't have any other reanimation or anything like that, so... Not right now, at least. Yeah, I figured they had removal spells, so they have to use it on Zagras. Get in. Go back up to 19. Sega. I wonder if I'm taking the right lines. Kind of hard to know what my opponent's doing. It is this... I know this Esper Dungeons deck, but I don't really play against it very much. So I don't know exactly the best way to fight it. Especially not with this deck. I haven't really gotten enough game in with this deck to know what lines you're supposed to take when, because there are a lot of lines in this deck. Like, should we have played the Body Launderer like 3 turns ago, you know? Shit, man, we're drawing a lot of lands, aren't we, guys? Jeez. You see, I could drop a land, just in case you're wondering. I could drop a land, then drop Body Launderer, then drop Jaxis as a blitz and be able to copy something, but I won't have any cards in my hand. I can't discard a card, so I can't actually do this ability. So that makes things a little tougher here, but I think Body Launderer is the play. Let's get in first. I think we will. Really surprised if they block with Luminarch here. Maybe they have a removal spell. They don't. They go to 10. So let's Launderer. It hangs. And let's end the turn here. I'm not going to play our land for the turn because this might be a card we discard to Jaxis next turn. They verse the Body Launderer. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Ugh. It sucks. Sucks. Nuts. Here they come. They're not going to come with the Aspirant, which is interesting. I wonder if they don't know that this Raffine's Informant can't block. Their dungeon makes our extraction specialist small. I'm blitzing in Jaxis this turn. Now what we're going to do is we're going to target the extraction specialist. We're going to discard the Luminarch Aspirant. And then we copy the extraction specialist and get back the Aspirant. Wandering Emperor comes down to go ahead and take out our Jaxi. I assume. You don't have to do it right now. Yeah, they kill our Jaxis. It was making too much trouble for them, I think. Sweet play though. Like, this deck has plays like that, and I really like that. Let's just swing at the Emperor with our token version of Extraction Specialist. See which one they want to keep. All right, yeah, they give up their no. Yeah, they let us kill their Emperor. They might have another.
Try not to miss.
I'm still not gonna play this land yet, guys. I'm not gonna do it. Let's draw some cards. We should draw yeah, just the one. Raffine's Informant was our draw. They still have 3 cards in their hand and Luminarch Aspirant. They always have 2. I mean, we've had 2 this game, I think. Maybe that was the last game. Yeah. This game they get there too. Big boys coming through. They draw a card off of Dungeon. So what do we take? 6, go to 14. No blocks. I was thinking about blocking Luminarch with Extraction Specialist. just to trade. I gotta get that Lumi off the table, right? But I got my own thoughts. Let's Raffine's Informant before we attack. Try to get a good card, maybe piece of removal. It's a Professor of Symbology, huh? That's cool. Yeah, let's play Professor. I think we get a reduced to memory here. I don't know what you think. Could also get an expanded anatomy and deal extra damage. Hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Put it at 4 with an expanded anatomy. And have a vigilant dude. I like reduce. I think reduce is probably correct. Let's put a counter on Lumi so he can swing in. She? Yeah. See how it goes. The Infernal Grasp, Luminarch Aspirant. They go to 10. And they Vanishing Verse. Dude! They have all the removal spells in their deck. In their hand at all times. Wow. 3 Vanishing Verse and 2 Infernal Grasp for this game. In the top 16 of cards of their library. That's disgusting. That is truly disgusting. Jeez. Really probably need to get rid of this Triumphant Adventurer, but Luminarch Aspirant's going to create too much value. I know that an Adventurer is doing that too, but I think that Aspirant's creating more, to be honest, right now. Jeez, guys. That is disgusting, man. That was really gross. Just 3 Vanishing Verse and 2 Infernal Grasp. It's probably like every removal spell in their deck. So, jeez, man. Wow, wow, wow. Just wow. Yikes. They scry 1 on Lost Mine from Triumphant Adventurer. Man, what a turnaround. We have to draw pretty well here. Let's block with the Professor. That way if we get some sort of... Well, no, let's not do that. Well, it probably doesn't matter. 4, 5, and 2. Yeah, so yeah, we can block with Professor here. The reason I wasn't going to is... Ooh, they have a Wandering Emperor, don't they? Okay, they don't have the mana for that. I'm you know... I'm always ready for it. 3, 6, go to 8. I guess I can block with an Informant. It's fine. We have to draw Thwart the Grave, which I don't think we've drawn in this game. We drew Extraction Specialist. That's pretty good. Professor, I think. We still have 4 mana open. What if we get Lumi? Make this a 4/3. Still won't matter. Let's get Professor. Now, I'm thinking about getting Necrotic Fumes here. Could also get Mascots. You think that'd be good against them? Kind of running out of cards. We can survive one more turn. I'm grabbing Mascots. I was thinking grab Fumes here and then get rid of one of these guys, but it's probably fine. It's probably fine. Cycle of Raffine's Tower. They have 2 cards in their hand. Raffine. Good draw, buddy. Great cycle. Alright, so they get in. Something will connive. It's the Tenacious Underdog. Their venture gets them a treasure. Draw 2 on connives. God, Raffine. Raffine is a gross draw right now. It's really disgusting. How weird does this look? But I'm going to do it. Let's gain some life. If I block the Adventurer with the Specialist... Oh my god, a 3rd Infernal Grasp? Jeez, man. 3 Infernal Grasps, 3 Vanishing Verse. That's hard to play against, guys. It really is. Just every removal spell they could have, they have it. Alright. Launderer. They're drawing hot. We're drawing lands, but you know, it happens. A couple of really good games to start the night, but like we keep crapping out at the very end. Raffine, the only attack here, yeah. Well, let's go ahead and go to 6. Screw it. Draw Luminar Caster. Where's all of our stuff, you know? Like, where's everything in our deck, bro? We keep drawing, like, the same 3 cards. It's kind of weird. Land, Luminar. I do think Arena tries to give you your Luminar Castrants, you know? They do. Can't really attack with much here, can I? This blocks. Get a couple things off the board, maybe. What if I attack all? What if I attack with these 4 guys? They're gonna block here. And they have to block, like, here. It's one of these guys and kill it. But then they just get back their underdog, you know? But if they take any damage, that's a problem. I don't know, I want to try it. I'm kind of out of options here. So this attack kills them if they don't block. But if they just block there, it doesn't kill them. 3, 6, 7, 8, yeah. Well, yeah, it does. They have to get rid of a guy here. But I probably should have saved this flying guy here. Keep a bluff up. If they attack with all 4 guys, they might be able to kill us with just Raffine. Depends on how the connives go. They know to connive with Raffine. Or to, you know, target Raffine with the ability. But this game wasn't going to go, you know, well for us one way or the other, I don't think. By the way, I just want to throw this out there. We do have removal spells in our deck. For anybody that's wondering. We do have them. Wow, they didn't kill us. Oh my god, they didn't kill us. Huh. What do you have then? It's like they didn't... Oh, did they? But did I just missed blocking? I mean, I couldn't have blocked the other creature. But for some reason God, I sound stupid right now. But for some reason I thought that they weren't attacking with Nadar. I think it's because it has Vigilance. I didn't see the orange arrow under it. So it wasn't tapped, so I just didn't think it was attacking. But yeah, I wouldn't have been able to unblock it anyway. Have I considered the party O-ring? Nah, Deepster. I think I'd rather play the removal spells we're playing, like Vanishing Verse and Fateful Absence. Opponent goes. This is not a good hand. There's a Thwart the Grave. We went all game without seeing one. There it is. That's Arena for you. I don't think we can keep this hand. No 2-drops at all. 14 2-drops in the deck. And that is the second... We played 3 games. That's the second game Arena has not given us a 2-drop in our opener. We have plenty. I promise. Haunted Ridge into Hive of the Eye Tyrant for Tenketsu. Blood Tithe Harvester. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Extraction Specialist. Alright. Let's get a black source off the Blight Step. And let's do some informing. I'll discard the underdog. I'm going to try the old turn 3 Extraction Specialist. Do imagine our opponent has removal, though. It's black-red. Oni Colt Anvil, okay. Yep. It's a party, alright. Can we beat Anvil? A lot of long game decks tonight, man. Which is what I hope to be. I hope that all these tricks lead to a decent long game, but gotta draw the right cards to do it. Let's block this Harvester. If they drew their bombs, you drew your lands. Yeah, that's what happens. It's Arena. Gonna be a couple of games like that every now and again. There's a land. Cool. Well, let's Specialist here. Value in my life. I really want to Informant again, I'm not going to lie. Get that tenacious underdog anytime. Ooh. Let's drop the Zagreus in there. I know. We might could have played the Zagreus next turn, but I actually really want to play the Launderer next turn. I was thinking about dropping the Shakedown Heavy, to be honest. Hell, keep our dudes. I could thwart the grave next turn, right? Get back the underdog into Zagreus. Be a sexy turn 4 play. See if we get to do it. Alright, sack an artifact. They get 2. Look how that works. Because they played another anvil. I don't know if I said it. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Now you can just block for days. Feeling good about yourself. We got a Vanishing Verse that can't actually target anything. That's cute. Do have to worry about that Hive of the Eye Tyrant. It can really bug us. Might be why I should go ahead and thwart the grave, right? Get this Zagreus, start swinging in. I'm really tempted. So I'm going to do it. It's probably one of my worst traits as a Magic player. So I will give in to temptation. Looks like they may have removal spell up here too, though. We'll see. Bang, bang. Zagreus and a Tenacious Underdog on turn 4. 8 mana worth of value? It's not bad. Now they can double block the Specialist, but I imagine if they do that, they'll sack one of the tokens to the anvil. But this is what I expected more. They just take 1 block. Come on. Come on. You've been playing the anvil deck for a while. Yeah. Yeah, that's what you do. Brother or sister. Tenkatsu. I think we played against Tenkatsu on stream before. Probably this deck. Anvil players are loath to give up this deck. It's fun. It's really fun. If you like a certain kind of deck in Standard right now, this is like the only deck for you at the moment. Looking at our Zagreus. They're eyeing him pretty hard, man. Tenkatsu. Give me the pork, buddy. Maybe it's really hard, you know? They have 4 mana, 4 cards in their hands. Tough play. It's tough. They're going to do something. Yeah, they're going to Voltage Surge the Zagreus. So difficult. I'm sorry for the salt. Looks like they may be salty, though, so... Together, we're just going to ruin our respective diets. Seriously, why did that take so long? I don't know. Maybe they hate only having 1 red mana. I bet that's what it is. I bet that's what it is. So, Shakedown Heavy, Vanishing Verse up, or just Body Launderer? I like Body Launderer. I do. I'm going to go ahead and run this out in case a creature dies during our combat step. If they're savvy, they'll go ahead and kill something now. Okay. I will play our land. I'll do it. Let's try and get in. Just got to keep running at them. I know. They can block Anvil, but like they're going to do that. I do about 2 Anvils. I got to fly over them. That's the only thing. I've got to fly over them. Otherwise, I could also go wide, but that's tougher than it sounds against this deck. 4 cards left in their hand. Vanishing Verse just waiting to do work. It's done so much work for our opponents already tonight. It's got to do some work for us. What all's in our yard? Just 2 cards. Yeah, Thwart the Grave Zagreus. They have not done us the favor of putting too many things in our yard. They remove the Body Launderer now. We won't get anything back. Oh my goodness. Come on. They massacre for 2. So we get 3 Connives? Alright. Let's go. We'll take that. A Zagreus. Neat. Shakedown. Yeah, I'll get rid of the heavy. Hasn't been a great card so far tonight, has it? Ooh, another Body Launderer. Eeh. Sure. How good is this Vanishing Verse? I guess it gets rid of the Massacre, right? I might need it to do that, too. I'll discard the Body Launderer. What I'm really hoping to get here is... we never did. The Verse. Yeah, let's get rid of the Verse. Crap. So it's going to be like a 7/7. Body Launderer. Or 6/6? Something like that? Yeah, 6/6. So if I Luminarch Aspirant, it's not going to do it. I was hoping I could Aspirant Zagras, you know? That's too much to ask. Let's just deal a lot of damage to them at one time. Yeah, scoop it up. Cool. Oh, Tenkatsu. So we beat the only Cold Anvil deck. I don't know. If I was going to cut stuff from this deck, I'd just put in more removal. But I don't want to cut stuff. You know, that's what I was saying earlier. If I could cut a single card from this deck, I wouldn't. I really think this deck is like kind of fine the way it is. It's fun. All I want to do is have fun. And I promise you that if you play this deck, well, I can't promise you, but Arena is probably less likely to serve you up with, you know, oh, I want to drop a 2-drop on turn 2 and then either block with it or get it hit by a removal spell, and then I can Extraction Specialist on turn 3, you know. I can attack with my 2-drop, trade on turn 3, and then play Extraction Specialist to get it right back, you know. We had pipe dreams. We were able to do it a couple of times, but we mostly ran up against, you know, Fading Hopes, Brutal Cathars 2 or 3 times, the stuff that just ruined that line. So earlier some really bizarre stuff was happening before I got on stream. I would play, you know, I would hope to get 2-drop into Specialist, and my opponent would play like Candle Trap. I had 2 opponents play Candle Trap against me to ruin the Extraction Specialist line. So like, Arena knows what I'm trying to do, and they stop me from doing it. But hopefully you get some games in with this deck, and Arena will not do that to you so much. I really wish. I really hope that Arena lets you do more. Honestly, if I could cut some cards from this deck, 1 Jaxis might be cut. I really don't think Shakedown Heavy did that much work for us tonight. It could go, but we do need 3 drops to replace it, right? There are a couple cards. You don't need this Morag. This Morag did literally zilch. It's just not a good card. Return Pass Caller, I'd still keep the 1 of in. I would still keep the 1 of this card in this deck because it's so good with Thwart the Grave. But you could cut this Morag. You know, I originally had dreams of this deck being this ridiculous top-end Reanimator deck with 4 Return Pass Callers, 4 Titan of Industry, right? And you just like play some party guys on the low end that let you discard bombs into the yard, and then you reanimate them with Thwart the Grave. You know, that was the idea. And tonight is another indicator. The more I play this deck, the more I think that you still want Thwart the Grave, but you don't necessarily want, like Morag, or like I was doing earlier, Titan of Industry. You don't want these huge top-end things. I think that you probably just want Thwart the Grave and then a bunch of other small stuff, right? Like, the best lines tonight were Extraction Specialist lines, right? Some of the best lines tonight were Jaxis lines. And that's mostly copying smallish stuff. You can't even copy Morag with Jaxis, at least not to any real effect. So, Body Launderer had some sweet lines tonight, too, you know? You had a lot of opponents who had to kill it on sight, or else it's going to do really crazy stuff for us. So, like, I actually think where the value in this deck lies is in, you know, play 2-drop, play 3-drop. Get hit by Sweeper. Reestablish with an Extraction Specialist. Get hit by Sweeper. Reestablish with Thwart the Grave, right? Get hit by Sweeper. Body Launderer. They kill that. Reestablish with Extraction Specialist. Well, not Extraction Specialist, but reestablish with like a Luminarch Aspirant, a Professor of Symbology that draws you a card. Raffine's Informant that filters a decent card. Or, you know, use Tenacious Underdog to get in after Sweepers. I actually think we're very good against Sweepers. Like, that's what we want to play against, for the most part, is decks with lots of Sweepers. Because honestly, we usually play very, very well against those decks. But tonight we hit some weird snags, you know, we hit a lot of land pockets, and I know that sounds like I'm just fussing, but you were there. You saw the game where we drew 6 lands in a row. You saw the game where we drew 7 lands in a row. You were there. You saw it. So I think I get a little bit of gripe in that department tonight. You probably won't draw 6 lands in a row, and then you probably won't draw 7 lands in a row the next game. Probably. Again, I can't guarantee it, but I don't know you. But you see how things operate here on the stream. Either way, though, I still think this deck has a lot of really cool tricks. Jaxis has neat tricks. Specialist has neat tricks. Body Launderer has cool tricks. We saw a couple of times tonight where we can use Specialist or Launderer to keep bringing back Professor of Symbology over and over, getting these learn lines. And, like, This deck does cool stuff. It really does. So I'm going to keep trying it in my spare time. I know we've only got a couple of months left to play this before rotation, but I think this deck is boss. I think this deck is really cool, and I think there's probably a build out there somewhere that does what I'm trying to do better. Another cuttable card, by the way, is probably Bloodcaster. This is another wizard, but honestly, you're not that worried about putting party together. You're worried about playing Thwart the Grave for like 4 mana. That's what you don't really want to play Thwart the Grave for like 2 mana, you know? Playing Thwart the Grave for 3 or 4 mana is fine. So you don't need to fill out all this party. Like, we don't need this other warrior with Shakedown Heavy. We don't really need this other wizard with Voldar and Bloodcaster. An idea would be to cut the Bloodcaster and cut the 2 heavies. But I would put in 1 Tenacious Underdog. That way, you don't go down on 2 drops. You saw we had plenty of games tonight where we didn't get a 2-drop in our opening hand, which again, with 14 2-drops, shouldn't happen to you that much. It really shouldn't. That's mathematically enough 2-drops to get a 2-drop. Most. Like, I think it's 87% of games. But just based on the Frank Karsten math chart that I've seen, the hypergeometric distribution, it should be around close to 90-ish% to get a 2-drop in this deck. But it didn't have 3 games. It didn't have it, which is a lot when you think about it. But we don't want to go down on 2 drops. So I think if you drop this Bloodcaster, add an Underdog, especially if you drop the other 2 warriors from the deck with Shakedown Heavy. Underdog's a warrior. Jaxis is a warrior. So you don't have to drop heavy, but I think you can. I think you can drop 1 copy of Jaxis from the deck, and that would be fun. You can drop the Morog from the deck. So that's a lot of removal to add. That's a couple of creature slots you can play around with. So I think there's a lot you can do with this deck and still, have some success, have a lot of fun, and that's what matters.